The night began with a silence that felt engineered, a stillness that did not belong to any natural order. Somewhere deep within a mountain range, thousands of miles from American shores, something stirred a signal so faint it almost dissolved into the static of the world's electromagnetic noise. But it carried a pulse, a technical irregularity that hinted at an event no one was meant to witness. It was the signature of a launch sequence warming in the shadows, quiet enough to remain invisible, but powerful enough to rewrite the balance of global security. And in that fragile moment before destiny could shift, an unseen contest for the future had already begun. In Langley, the pulse manifested as an anomaly on a routine sweep, one of thousands that analysts skimmed over each night. But this one lingered. It had the mathematical rhythm of a weapons system transitioning from standby to active. The intelligence environment was calm on paper, but beneath the surface, tensions were layered like fault lines waiting for pressure. A young analyst at a night shift terminal paused, recalibrated the signal, and watched as the anomaly sharpened, forming a pattern too deliberate to be dismissed. It came from a location long suspected, but never proven to hold clandestine missile infrastructure. No Allied satellite had captured evidence. No human source ever survived long enough to confirm, yet the signal was real and its timing was precise. The agency understood immediately that something was unfolding in the dark. Patterns began emerging in the hours that followed. Signals intelligence teams traced faint radio bursts resembling encrypted telemetry. Cyber units detected microvariations in energy grids feeding remote installations. Satellite specialists, using infrared sweeps, noticed a subtle heat bloom near an access tunnel carved into the rock. None of these indicators alone suggested catastrophe, but together they hinted at the early tremors of a weapons system coming online. Further analysis revealed that the signal aligned perfectly with the ignition architecture of a mid-range missile, one rumored to carry an experimental payload. It wasn't merely a launch. It was a test of capability, one that could destabilize entire regions and trigger chain reactions of military posturing. The escalation was immediate. Task force was formed in a sealed operations room beneath Langley, accessible only through biometric layers that denied entry even to most senior personnel. Specialists filed in, cryptographers, aerospace engineers, cyber infiltration experts, and geopolitical analysts whose job was to understand the motives behind the machine. They pieced together shards of intelligence that hinted at clandestine procurement networks, covert scientific collaborations, and unexplained movements of operatives across border regions. Surveillance drones flying at legal distances captured nighttime cargo transfers under blackout conditions. Intercepts recorded brief coded exchanges between figures known for their work in weapons propulsion. Very clue suggested that a missile was being readied under absolute secrecy, shielded by mountains, misdirection, and layers of political denial. As the picture sharpened, the task force uncovered the chilling possibility that the launch was not a demonstration, but a message one intended for adversaries, allies, and perhaps even the global intelligence community itself. The aim was to prove an untraceable strike capability, one that could be executed before any nation had time to respond. More disturbing was the discovery of foreign advisors embedded near the facility, specialists skilled in bypassing detection systems and crafting electronic camouflage. Their presence confirmed that the operation had backing beyond national borders. Satellite passes were adjusted to examine every centimeter of terrain. A deep cover agent within a nearby research institute sent a single encrypted packet indicating movement of technicians toward an underground command hall. The tension inside Langley rose with each captured detail. Confirmation arrived through a fusion of data that left no room for doubt. A thermal surge from the mountains indicated that cryogenic fuel systems had been activated. A hidden low-frequency antenna transmitted a pattern identical to pre-launch synchronization tests. Imagery captured faint sparks from what appeared to be final stage assembly. Intercepted communications revealed an impending moment of alignment, a coded phrase previously associated with weapons readiness. The task force realized the truth. The missile would be launched within 30 hours, and diplomatic channels were useless. No accusation could be made without evidence, and no military strike could be conducted without igniting a regional conflict. The CIA had to act alone, with precision, silence, and absolute deniability. Their response unfolded through layers of covert measures designed to dismantle the operation without triggering alarms. Cyber teams infiltrated the mountain facility's auxiliary servers through a hijacked engineering tablet, slipping past firewalls built by foreign contractors who believed their code impenetrable. The intrusion mapped blind spots in the security grid and quietly inserted delays into diagnostic loops. Surveillance assets reoriented to capture frequency modulations between mobile command units. A deception campaign broadcasted fake maintenance alerts into local systems, prompting technicians to waste precious time troubleshooting phantom errors. Meanwhile, a counterintelligence cell disrupted communication channels belonging to external advisors, severing their access without revealing the interference. Each step was surgical, designed to cripple without confrontation. As the clock advanced, the operation reached its climax. The CIA discovered the full truth. The missile was not merely a prototype, but a hybrid platform capable of carrying a non-conventional payload, one engineered to evade standard defense radars. It was a weapon designed for first-strike ambiguity, meant to leave nations blind in the crucial seconds before impact. Worse, the warhead was already mounted. Final countdown protocols were underway. The task force initiated its most dangerous measure, a sabotage algorithm hidden within the fuel system's calibration software, triggered only when final ignition checks began. As technicians initiated the launch sequence, the algorithm executed, corrupting the synchronization between fuel pumps and ignition chambers. Inside the mountain, alarms erupted. The missile shut down automatically to prevent catastrophic internal failure. On the surface, no explosion occurred, no trace of external attack could be found. It was to the outside world a technical malfunction, embarrassing but benign setback. Within hours, the facility's staff scrambled to diagnose the failure, while foreign advisors demanded answers. Investigators combed through systems, but found no fingerprints, no foreign code, no sign that anyone had ever touched the controls. The launch was postponed indefinitely as engineers drifted into blame and confusion. What they never discovered was that the CIA had used their own redundancies against them, quietly severing the heart of the system without ever stepping foot inside the complex. The threat evaporated in silence, leaving only frustration behind the fortified walls of the mountain installation. Outside, global markets moved undisturbed. Governments remained unaware, and the world continued orbiting its routine, oblivious to how close it had come to disaster. In Langley, the task force dissolved with the same discretion with which it had assembled. Files were sealed. Access logs were wiped. The analysts who solved the anomaly returned to their ordinary desks, becoming invisible again within the vast architecture of American intelligence. There were no medals, no headlines, no televised speeches, acknowledging what had been prevented. Even within the agency, only a handful of personnel would ever understand the magnitude of what had been stopped. For them, the success existed only as a classified memory, buried under layers of bureaucracy, known but never spoken. The final reflection lingered in the minds of those who witnessed the operation's quiet end. Intelligence work existed in the shadows between catastrophe and normalcy, balancing the world on threads so delicate they often snapped without anyone noticing. Victories were uncelebrated, failures unacknowledged, and dangers unseen by the public who trusted institutions without ever knowing the battles fought on their behalf. Somewhere another anomaly would appear, another silent pulse hidden in the static, another threat waiting behind a curtain of secrecy. And once again, unseen hands would move to protect a world that never realized how close it came to losing its balance.